Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. Behind stage, I've got Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. We'll talk about the playoffs right now. It looks like the Hawks are actually up in game 3 by 6 points over 5 points now, 61-56 over Boston right now. Also talk about these NFL gambling suspensions and more on Sports Scope. We'll get our first and only break out of the way and be back and hit the ground running here in 49 seconds. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. And I'm live here on All Links. Hey, Carlos, how's it going, man?
Yo, what up? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yeah.
I missed you last weekend, bro. Had a lot
of
to complain
Man,
about.
I really wanted to get into it. I had some wet clothes in the laundry room, and it just irritated the crap out of me. I had a backup plan today, but I didn't have the same problem. It's like the first time for everything. Hey, Pickles, appreciate you putting on.
That's why you gotta live in New York, man. There's a laundromat every three stores.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and so that's the backup plan this week. Even though I was really busy, I'm looking at this score right now, 63-56.
That's going to change. Boston right now is just – I see a little bit of fatigue in them, but their depth is going to come through. This game is going to be okay. Atlanta right now, if they don't score 30 points, this game is – Boston's going to come back. So
Yeah, the second quarter, that's pretty good. Atlanta must be shooting the lights out right now.
Yeah, they're a little hot right now.
I took Atlanta +6 for the record here.
Oh, man. Can't bet on
Best
Atlanta.
bet's no bet, according to the NFL. Now, Jameis Williams, just a little backstory for everybody. He was the first-round pick for the Detroit Lions last year. He was coming back from, I want to say, an ACL, pretty serious injury. Comes back late in the season, starts to show some real promise, Carlos. Really looks good. Looks like a potential number 2 behind Amon St. Brown, potentially number 1 receiver. Then he gets in trouble and of course there's other players, but he's the big fish here. Gambling at the facility.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So
yeah, go ahead.
Let's get the story straight. So the gambling part is happening on the facility, but on college football games.
Yes.
So that's why they're not suspended for the year and only suspended for 6 games.
Yes, and some guys were. I think some of the others. What's his name?
Moore and
Cephus.
Cephus, yeah.
Yeah, Cephus is kind of like a 4th or 5th receiver. Sometimes he can be a deep threat so Detroit's essentially going to have to change up their draft board a little bit, maybe have to add another receiver late in the draft.
Yeah, so these guys are suspended. Detroit.
Yeah, no, those guys are kicked off the team.
Yeah, they were kicked off the team. Yeah, they're no longer, all they got is a bunch of just T-shirts and jerseys left for them to take home because they're locked with everything. But this is like if you think about it, this is an opportunity for Detroit to revamp. And they got a lot of picks anyways, and this might be more positive than it is negative for them on the back end and on the numbers, right?
Yeah, something, and like I said, it's a 6-game suspension for Williams. He's the star here. Mm-hmm. He was betting at the facility. This is also what I read. This is something, I don't know if you caught this, but I just read this a few minutes ago, that the players. Okay, this is from The Athletic. The NFL's gambling policy prohibits anyone in the league from engaging in any form of gambling in a club or league facility or venue. However, check this out, Pickles. Players are not prohibited from gambling on other sports, and they're still getting in trouble. Even Pac-Man Jones on the Pat McAfee show said that's stupid. We've talked to Jim Jeffcoat. You see me talk to him on the Mac. He's a former NFL player. There's signs everywhere. There's rookie symposiums. The players are beat over the head with these rules. I used to feel sorry for him, Carlos Pickles. But now that I'm hearing it from other players' perspective, I'm thinking, what are you guys thinking, man?
Yeah, so here's another thing, too. And it's like,
yeah,
it just takes somebody to start a card game of poker or spades, and put some money on it, or roll a few dice here and there, and that's a suspension, even something that small. You know, they're betting on college games. I don't think it should be that big of a deal. But the thing was,
Pickles says no pity for ignorance.
Yeah, but the thing is that they were warned. They have all this information out there, and they know better than to be doing it at the facility.
And why would they be ignorant? It's right there everywhere. Can you read the sign?
I mean,
especially Calvin Ridley. Ridley's going to be back this year.
That's the thing. This guy
it's not like this hasn't never happened before,
Listen, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's written. There's a lot of stuff that's posted, and to be honest, you living in a growing city there in Nashville, and what do you say about those guys that can't follow the guidelines, speed limits, and stuff like that? Traffic is really bad in Nashville, and in some school areas, and people speeding through some of those areas. I mean, it's everywhere. Things are posted everywhere. People should know wrong from right. And at the end of the day, if you follow the rules, you should be okay. And if you don't, you might get caught. Yeah. You might not, but if you do, you got to suffer the consequences, right? I mean,
yeah, and something. This call, there's no telling. This was probably some small $100. Calvin Ridley got suspended for a year. I think he said he bet like $1,500. Now that for me and you, that's crazy money. But for him, that's like me and you probably betting, maybe $100 or maybe even less than that. I don't bet over $4 or $5. Not unless I'm already on what do you call it? The house money where I've won some winnings, but I rarely do that. The idea for us normal people have to grind for a living. There's no way I do that. It's so stupid. The money's too big in the NFL.
How about we flip it? What if these guys were talking stock market and trades? Would they get in trouble for that?
Well, the whole idea, man.
You know what I'm saying? No, like if I'm sharing with you.
Well, that's different. Stocks and markets don't have nothing to do with the game. Now, that's called insider trading, though. If you're working at Wall Street, you got to flip it that way, Carlos.
I know, but it's still gambling, right? At the end of the day. You're still gambling. You're
not guaranteed. People don't like to hear that, but it is still gambling too, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, the rules they have to make it more apparent, more. If the players are doing it and they're not understanding, there's a problem somewhere there in what the rules are and how they're being given to the players, right? I mean, we can't. As much as some people are ignorant, or as much as people make mistakes, and as much as people break rules, just like you just mentioned, Calvin really just got suspended. Like he's just now trying to get back into.
And everybody was talking about that around the league, Yeah,
how is it that these guys are doing this and getting in trouble for this? And I mean,
especially Jameson Williams, it's like Mike Golick would say, players. When he was talking about steroids, but you could say same for gambling. It won't happen to me. I'll never get caught. It won't happen. They won't never notice. Yada yada yada. And for the players that say, "Well, you're such hypocrites. You have a team in Vegas. You've embraced gambling. You've embraced daily fantasy." And you know what I say if I'm the NFL? Why do you think you're getting paid this kind of money? It's because everyday people like me or you. Or now maybe not you, but myself, $3 or $4 here, $3 or $4. When you're talking millions and millions of people, we had 120 million people watch the Super Bowl. That's why you get paid what you get paid. You get paid a lot more money, even though the guys in WWE make good money. You get paid a lot more money in them because this is a regulated sport. It's not rigged. We don't want to send the question. We don't want any hint that it's rigged. We want to keep it like that, okay? This is why we embrace gambling, but we don't want you gambling, okay? You got to look at the big picture. This money that's pouring in, we're able to pay you this kind of money because we're getting in this kind of money, So it's
here
look at big perspective, big picture,
It's kind of like, it's like alcohol and tobacco. Like you have to be 21 to consume it, right? But kids, whatever age you are below that, you get your hands on it, you get caught, right? I mean, you're breaking rules, right? So there's consequences to that, man. I mean, so it is what it is. And no matter what your opinion is on the rules, unless the rules change, you got to follow the guidelines. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah. And somebody that's had to do a crappy job out of college when I first got out, I'm doing pretty good now. I want to be making millions of dollars talking sports, but that'll come eventually. But doing those crappy jobs out of college, if I was playing in the NFL out of college, if I could just put the crappy the feeling of working a god awful job or god awful ball in that guy, they will never do stupid stuff again. You see what I'm saying?
Man, and it's not. I'm not trying to bag you or anybody else.
Yeah.
But you're 21 or you're 18, 19, 20, 21. I mean, that's what you are. Like, let's say you dated, beautiful women and
no, I see what you're saying. It's the old adage, Carlos. If I knew then what I knew now, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, no, you're still going to be a knucklehead to these, to your situation because you're a knucklehead, right?
Yeah,
you're not
they don't even have the control to get mama to gamble for them, Pickles.
you
they
just
don't have the self-control for none of that stuff.
Mature situations do not make immature people mature. They just don't. Like, if you have the opportunity of getting a house, settling down, and just because you're making mature decisions doesn't mean you're a mature person.
That's a good point, Pickles. And people are still talking about, Carlos, Jalen Carter, who's showing you he's immature, getting drafted in the top 5.
Because he's
a baller, but man, you're gonna any kind of trouble he gets in, you're gonna hear about it because all this stuff is out there in the public now.
Okay, so here's the thing, Robert. Like we are people that we can't shut off the desires that life brings us, the luxuries of life afforded to us, if you can afford it, right? So like people have issues with their weight, people have because they like to eat chocolate, they like to eat steaks, they like to eat fried food
in excess,
right? So I mean that has nothing to do even with maturity if you think about it. That's just in your face, and that's something that you just got to turn your head.
But I think you see like a guy like a Jalen Carter getting in a lot of trouble as soon as he gets drafted.
If he
does, he gets his signing bonus, right?
That's a risk, right? These NFL teams they're not dumb either. They cut these guys faster than they didn't even have to walk in the office, right? They're like, oh, they said, let's cut him.
Pickles said they'll be in trouble within a year,
right? Well, if he's in trouble,
Batman Jr.
But look, at the end of the day, you want to see these guys playing football, though, no matter what trouble they're in, right? Nobody said nothing about Tony Gonzalez until the murder case, and then that was it. Now nobody talks about
Aaron Hernandez.
Talking about Gonzalez. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, why you get Tony Gonzalez like?
I'm sorry. I
love Tony Gonzalez.
I'm sorry.
Take that off the record.
That was my totally bad mistake. I was just thinking tight end. The first picture that popped in my head was
Hernandez,
his face and the other guys.
And you're right. That's why he fell. For the audience here, if you don't remember, he fell to the 4th round, and he was a first-round talent. He was killing it at Florida.
Yeah, he was.
The coaches, they knew he was a head case. Then he's getting in bar fight. This is what I heard then. Right. He did bar fights and stuff. He was suspended for a game. Urban Meyer, if you get suspended on the Urban Meyer team, you really effed up because he wants to look the other way.
Right, because at the end of the talent, the amount of talent and what they put on the field was so much more for the coach. It meant wins. It meant the opportunity of being in bowl games. So you look the other way, and it's unfortunate, but but this is. I mean, these guys are young. These are young men making a lot of money, and I think. Look, if I ever have an opportunity, my son or my daughter or somebody, like, or even like a nephew or niece, and they come into a large sum of the money before they're
Yeah.
21, I would go in there and I would try to help them out as best as possible because
Yeah.
money changes people. Money changes everything, man. Money is money for a reason. It's it's the root of all evil for a reason, man. So
What did Biggie Smalls say? More money, more problems.
yo, like so. That's why I ain't got no money. That's why I'm a happy person.
Die broke. That was actually some kind of book or something. So let's talk about the playoffs and Jim Moore Jr.
Playoffs.
Jim Moore Sr., excuse me, voice. We got a great game coming on here in about 25 minutes or so. The Knicks, man, it's going to be loud. I'm actually recording that game, dude.
It's so crazy right now. I live in Queens, and in Manhattan, you can hear the noise coming from the Plaza MSG. These guys, and some of these guys are still trying to sober up from the Rangers game. So,
are the Rangers in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're beating up on the Devils right now too in the series. So,
wow,
it's crazy. In New York right now, it's crazy. Baseball just started. Both teams are doing okay. The Knicks are in the playoffs. The Nets are in the playoffs.
I would love to see.
It's a crazy time.
I would love to be at that Knicks. I mean, if it just if I could just find a way to be there, I would love just to feel that energy.
I've been trying to get
Madison Square Garden when they're actually good. They haven't been this good in a long time. They're only 2-point favorites tonight. I think they're going to win. What do you think about this series so far, man?
I'm excited that they're in the playoffs, but my hopes are, I don't have high hopes, man. I just enjoy the moment. You got to be in the moment. That's it.
That is true.
Because my feelings about Tibbs and the fact
you don't really like Tibbs no matter what happens.
No, that's the fact of the matter is I like Tibbs. I like that he's a good coach, but I feel like this guy belongs at UNC or Duke, and he would be successful, right? But in the NBA,
that's a good point.
He's not NBA material for the mere fact that when you're 24, 25, you're not listening to this man, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And another problem the Knicks have, and this GM and some of these, what the owner's done is they made this team guard heavy. So, because it's so guard heavy, the depth they have good players, but
yeah,
you're only going to get so far, especially if you have teams that have guys who are a little longer and bigger, not necessarily like true centers, but they're just enough to agitate you and not give you the opportunity that you need to get to the goal, So
my prediction, now this is going back to last week when I have a show Friday with me and you. I thought the Cleveland would win this in 7. I think this will go 7. I think maybe it could go 6 in favor of New York now, but it's probably, Cleveland's still got the more talent. New York's got a slight edge of experience, though.
Yeah,
and that does matter in the playoffs.
Yeah, so we didn't talk about this last week, and
right.
This is like I was talking to Keith this morning. Right. This is an opportunity for both New York teams to make it past the first round because the teams are playing. They're actually almost even with them in certain areas. For the Knicks, they have more depth than in the bench than Cleveland does, right? However, do they have the stamina?
Well, I like the way Toppin played the other day.
Yeah, it's the thing.
He was all over the boards, and they're going to play that much better. Hopefully, now they may screw themselves and get in foul, give you to its side and get in foul trouble. But
the problem is that Tibbs likes to overplay guys in some games, gives them way too many minutes, and though the next game they're not as sharp and they're not, they're already like you put them in for 10 minutes and they already showing fatigue because that's just the way Tibbs coaches. I mean, that's one of the things I dislike about him. That's something he won't change, and he hasn't changed.
Who wins tonight?
I'm sorry?
Who wins tonight?
I give the edge to the Knicks. I think that, like I said,
me too. Yeah,
I think the Cavs are just shorthanded, man. They get tired fast. You see in the third quarter, Spider-Man's taking over the game.
Who's Spider-Man?
Yeah, because
who's Spider-Man? Oh, okay.
That's what they call him. I don't know why, but I
think you have a pretty good guy. I think he'll at least
always have every game he'll play. He's going to average about 20, 25 points.
He's going to take a lot of shots, and I think that may work to their deficit. To the benefit of the Knicks.
Right. And then the thing that hurts the Knicks the most is this whole Randall situation. Like, people think that he should be in the game. I think the more he's not in the game, the better.
Pickles.
The better the team will do.
Yeah.
It don't his stats are great. He's had a great season, but again, I tell Keith this, he's playing 35, 40 minutes a game anyway. How can he
Randall
not
is?
Randall? Like, how
Oh,
can he
wow.
not get those stats? To me, he should be, the best person in the NBA for the amount of time that he's on the court, but he's not. So, and I mean, I give him credit for doing good, but he shouldn't be
Now,
doing
who
good.
is
He
your
should be
one? I
doing
think
great.
it's Brunson now. He's the top player on that team.
No, I'm talking about minutes.
Oh,
Average.
minutes. Okay.
Yeah, because and everybody's like, oh, look at him. He was an all-star this year, and he's been, he's leading stats and this and that. He's in the top 5. Like, yeah, like if you're playing 45 minutes, like you better be making stats, right?
That's some heavy minutes, man.
Yeah, and
that's some heavy minutes.
But if you look at the amount of threes that he's been taking compared to other players and what he's making, he doesn't rank in the top. So I feel like Randall likes to hang out too far, past the 12-foot line, like by the free throw line, and he just needs to kind of keep himself inside and use his height to his advantage because he's quick and he's fast and he's smart. He's a good passer, but when he's out there hanging around the third, 3-point line, he makes it a half-court game that the Knicks aren't good at, right? So
that's what kills me in today's NBA. You got too many bigs that want to hang out by the 3-point line.
Again,
play inside or play the wing. That's why you're called a wing,
right? So, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not comparing them, and I'm not saying they're the same, but when Marcus Camby, when the Knicks had that opportunity and Marcus Camby was on a team with Allen Houston and all that, instead of Marcus Camby would kind of hang around the 3 because he was a good shooter. He was a good shooter from the outside, and it was like, yo, go back inside because you need to give Allen Houston that space, that room to move. You don't get in the way. You're so skinny, right? You're not a big dude, really. So and that I think that when he did things like that, and those players that were on the Knicks did things like that, it was like, nah, man, you're not helping the team. And it's, I don't know. It's just a headache, man.
Who do you think wins this series?
I feel like the Knicks can probably take this from the
Well, that would be huge. I mean, when's the last time they've won a playoff?
I mean, even if they're not going to get past the second round, but like, I just think right now, if Cleveland's 5-6 players can get that stamina, can get it going, can score. If they get hot and score, that's going to be a problem for the Knicks. If the Knicks slow down the game and make it a half-court game, that's in Cleveland's favor. The Knicks cannot allow them to get into that half-court game because it's not that they're not good at it in that playing half-court. It's just that they're guard heavy, so they're not running and gunning. That slows down, and that makes for more mistakes or less more passing and less shooting. So
it's going to be one of the better series. It's a 6 or 7 gamer.
Yeah, it's going to be close, man, because they're so evenly matched. Same thing with the Nets and the 76ers. They're like,
oh, that one's over, man. What do you? I said that would be my prediction. That would have been a sweep, and they're one game away.
Philadelphia's not that good. They're not sweeping. In fact, Philadelphia's probably long in the tooth. You're gonna see that in the next game.
says Pickle says Cavs should well, you've got Mobley there, and then you got Allen, but Nick's got
Nick's actually play better defense and do better defensive rebounds than the Cavs.
Yeah, and their bench outscored them 30-8 in game 1 at one point.
But the Cavs, if they shoot well, when they shoot well, that's their key, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they have above the Knicks, because the Knicks can't. They're terrible at shooting threes, but the Cavs are not. So
yeah, it's going to be wild. They're the team that simply has to. They just got to out-hush you and out-scrap you. They kind of play like the way the Clippers played. What's your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard getting hurt again, man?
I mean,
God, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, but if you think about it, man, these guys, they get hurt a lot anyways, especially nowadays. Back then, guys would play hurt, but you would get mad because they were playing hurt. You'd be like, just sit down. You don't need a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
do you think that he just taking himself out?
I mean,
Kawhi Leonard.
I think that he does it for himself and for his team. Like, I think he's a very intellectual, quiet person, and he understands what it takes to win. And because he understands what it takes to win, he takes himself out of the game because even though he knows what he means to the team, he also knows what it means to play hurt, and you can get hurt even more. So I don't bag him because he's a winner. He's won before, and he's done it with and without good players. So, and if he feels like he needs to take himself out, fine. But I would rather see that than seeing Chris Paul know that he's hurt or has a strain and he's playing, but he's playing like doo-doo, right?
Yeah.
This guy's averaging 30 minutes, right? And he's like got 12 points, and he's not even helping with the assists, and he's not helping with the shooting. So it's like, why are you on the court, my man? You know, like sit out or play 10 minutes, play really good, and then like, you know, let it book a rip, you know, like put somebody else in.
He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's making about $45 million. You think his big contract? He'll be 31 next year. You think his big contract days are over with?
For who? For
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, well, these guys.
I mean, look how much he's been hurt, man. Since he came to the Clippers.
I think a team will. I think a team will put him in the category and give him a huge contract just to have someone on the team with his caliber.
God, you think? Yeah. Well, there's a sucker born every day.
I mean, I believe the Mavs will be. if Kawhi wanted to go back to Texas, I'm sure Cuban will give him a deal.
He might be crazy enough to do it. I mean, he's crazy enough to trade for Kyrie Irving.
But I say this: if you're that sucker, you better make it incentive based because you don't want to be paying this guy for
right. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking he's a 1 year guy, incentive based, games played.
Hey, Rob, how about this, man? If your ownership, if your NBA,
Pickles is right. I'm with you, Pickles. There's no way he's a max. I mean, even Stephen A. Smith was coming at him the other day or today.
Yeah, he the problem is that they demand so much money now that teams have to kind of look at it and be like, you kind of give it to him because he's a championship type of caliber player. He might not be playing like a championship, but you know he has.
Man, he's a guy you got to monitor his minutes and just he's worth about half of what he's making now. $45 million, man.
That's a lot. I mean, again, if he was on the Knicks, I wouldn't complain.
You're like, it ain't my money. Hey, sure. So well, I guess it's really kind of a bum series. I thought that game was gonna go. I thought before this Kawhi news broke, I thought that's gonna be maybe a 7-game series, and Phoenix could be in trouble. But like I said before, it's a battle of attrition. You don't know who the heck's gonna fall next.
And here's the thing: it's just not Leonard that is not playing. What's his name's not playing?
Paul George has been out.
Now I can't.
But they were still giving Phoenix everything that they can handle, man.
There you go. Hey, because what did we say when that trade happened? They didn't really make Phoenix better. They gave them depth, but they didn't make them better.
Well, they took away the depth and gave it to your Brooklyn Nets.
I mean,
who knows that Durant may come up lame. I mean, Durant's he had 45 minutes the other day.
No, these guys. I mean, I don't know
he's 34 years old.
I don't know why these coaches are not. That's one thing that I feel like they're not really doing, and I say that because you manage Mitch. Because some of these guys, you don't know what they do on the off days. You don't know how they're, working out, and when they have that break, they still have to run. Like you got to do stuff when you don't play, and that recovering and recuperation and all that. That's not easy after you're 25 years old, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hear you. If you're going to go hard like a Thibodeau, and you're going to do that, you're going to have to use that. See, so a lot of coaches, they size up their bench in the playoffs. They only use about 7 or 8 guys.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't understand.
Yeah, go ahead and use the whole bench.
Use everybody.
Yeah,
use everybody. You know why
you go hard like that?
You know why you use everybody? Because you don't know what everybody has to. You don't know the skill level that they have, and you don't know.
Maybe that's why Memphis has got a chance. Look at Tyus Jones the other day.
Yeah, and listen, Memphis will still keep having that opportunity because not only are they playing everybody, they've already been playing everybody for the last 50 games.
True.
Yes. And they're young, so they don't have an issue with stamina. The one thing that they need to do is control themselves and play smart basketball, play good basketball, not just take crazy shots, And and just go out there and they're gonna be okay if they just calm down. Sometimes they get that anxiety and they're just shooting up the rock, and I'm just looking at them like that's not John Morant, because John Morant would do that sometimes.
He's got a good chance to come back in the next game. I just read that before I came on the game.
Yeah, he's practicing. He had full practice and everything.
Yeah,
with John Morant, it gives you a little bit of an edge because he's a cold player. Like he's a one-on-one. He's a good one-on-one player, but still, like the rest of the team is not John Morant, so don't follow him in doing that, right?
Well, Jones's point guard, they actually run plays. Durant, or when it's John Morant, it's like Allen Iverson 2.0. Everybody clear out and let me go to the rim.
And when we say this, people, not Allen Iverson scoring 45, 50 points in the playoffs, like Allen Iverson doing the one-on-ones and just grinding out players. So don't get it twisted. We're not comparing John Morant to Iverson yet.
But it gets that way sometimes. You watch a lot of Iverson. We're the same.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about the move, the speed with the ball, off the ball, the.
He needs a pass more and get other people involved.
Yeah, yes. But what was the problem there? That's what happened with Philly when they had him. It was like, I'm
talking about Morant.
No, but I'm saying like that's the same issue that Morant has. Like, Morant, you got the rock. You got a double. You better pass that ball inside.
Right. Yeah. Pickles, usually in game 3, the home team, the crowd's so ratcheted up a lot of times actually bet Golden State yesterday, even though they didn't have Draymond Green, because I knew they'd shoot well. And the bench plays better. So there's a chance, you're right, Pickles, that they could light them up. Hillbilly Kobe, Austin Reeves could have a career night.
Here's another thing too. That the Lakers and Golden State both have players that in our generation are phenomenal in shooting and finding a way to score, and that's Curry and LeBron. Like when you have players like that can just take over a game, that's difficult to deal with, because what happens then is like you don't want to make the matchup about LeBron and Curry, but if you're coaching, you're like, hey, you're gonna have to double this guy, and then when you make it too defensive, these guys go away from attacking and shooting the ball, right? So that's the thing with being young for Memphis. I think, and I feel like because Morant's not there, these guys, their energy level hypes up a notch because because they're young and they got nothing to lose, man. And so I think that Memphis is gonna put it to the Lakers, and it's gonna be about an 8-point game.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think that the Lakers.
I thought the Lakers win it in 6, but I think Memphis will really push the Lakers.
And the difference between the Lakers right now and Memphis is that Memphis actually has a decent coach. Right.
You know what? I've been dogging him out, but the truth of the matter, he is a pretty decent coach.
Yeah. So and we're on the Lakers end.
And what about Jensen Jackson, the big there? The starter's playing great. He won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Memphis is going to do a lot better than people expect. I think you have to look at the LeBron factor. If you let LeBron do whatever he wants, you can let him score 80 points. The Lakers still going to lose. And I say that
he has to get everybody else involved.
There you go. There you go. That's the thing. You got to. That's it. And when you don't, some of these guys, they're just sitting there watching LeBron playing. And when LeBron passes the ball's like going sideways.
Yeah, he called LeBron old. I looked up. He's 27. He's not. Yeah, I thought he was like 23, 24.
No, he ain't that young. He's not.
He's just talking trash. And LeBron got mad about it when the reporter asked him today. I don't want to talk about that BS.
Why would you? If you're LeBron James,
actually don't blame LeBron for that.
If you're LeBron James, you'd be like, next question, man. Like I got championships, man.
By the way, for the audience, I don't know if you know this, Carlos. Dylan Brooks leads the league in texts. He's got one more than in the regular season. He's got one more than Draymond Green. Brooks is one freaking crazy play away from getting suspended for, a Draymond Green type of situation. I like he's that guy. You hate him if he's on other teams. If he's on your team, you love him.
Right. He's gonna grind out games.
Draymond Green.
Yeah. Listen, we got to be happy now because the season's over and the playoffs are here, because that was some terrible, terrible basketball during this season. I like that
what are your thoughts on these first 3 games so far? Is it what you thought it was be? Is it better?
I think it's better, man. And
Me too. I like the physicality, man.
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. Some of these guys not being in the game, I'm like, well, they not gonna be on the team next year anyways, because half of them was traded in and out of teams for contracts.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that the NBA allowed that, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah,
So
it is what it is. Yeah.
yeah, because remember we were talking about it, like, so now we know these teams that there's no consistency, there's no players are like hurt, things are happening, minutes are going crazy for different players. And so if you've been on the team for the whole season, you're just sitting there like, well, I hope I get to play on the court,
Right.
So
I mean, so what do you think about that Lakers series? I haven't asked you your opinion as a whole. Where's it going? Is Memphis going to win the series?
Memphis can. Like,
okay,
I give these teams all up and they all have a fighter's chance, but they have to take advantage of their opportunity, man. And if you don't,
I just think the Lakers will probably win it, but you never know if Anthony Davis is going to fall out. And LeBron's 38, man.
It's like when the Nets yesterday they almost beat the 76ers, and they didn't do it. I mean, it's like, come on, like you have.
Well, that's a big talent. I mean, they're lucky to be there at the 6th seed.
I mean, anybody's lucky to be where they're at right now. This is the first round, right? Right. This is the first round, right? So, it didn't take much. It didn't take much to get to where you were.
But you're leaning Lakers, but your heart's with Memphis. Is that what I'm getting? Your heart's in San Francisco, like the song said.
Yeah. I think the Lakers are gonna.
Pickle says win in 7. I'll tell you what, that would be a heck of a series if it goes 7. That would be.
I wanted to go to 7, and
the way Jackson is playing right now. Pickles is not too far out. That's not crazy. If he can play that way, the way he did last night, or whenever the last time they played, it was last night because they're playing Saturday. They're not even playing tonight. They're going to play tomorrow night. That'll be a good game. They have a puncher's chance to beat the Lakers.
Yeah,
he's going to have to play a lot of minutes, but he's a young guy. Everybody's young on Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis guy. I told you last year, and I mentioned it.
And they've got experience. Dude, this is their 3rd year in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're like the Golden State. This is their time, and if they don't, then that's it. Start pulling that team apart. Because
possibly, yeah.
So I want Memphis to win. To be honest with you, and I'll feel bad for LeBron because you know what it is. He's got that stigma, and you want him to win a championship every year, but that's just not. It's not reality at the end. That team is so dysfunctional right now for LA. I feel bad for LeBron because he's part of that.
Well, he pushed for a lot of that, and but I still think Memphis Lakers will probably win it. But
no,
again, it's an injury report thing. If Davis can play the way he is, and you get Raul, whatever his name is, and Hillbilly Kobe Austin Reeves. Those are the guys that's kind of putting them over the top, really. If you think
we're talking about these teams, and we haven't mentioned Sacramento, we haven't mentioned Denver.
Yeah. Well, I was just going through series by series with you. I mean, of course, we'll go over that. So you're saying, do you think who do you think is going to win that series, that Lakers, as it looks now?
I think Memphis can do it, and I hope they do it. But
in 7 or 6.
7. It has to go 7.
So you're going to say, okay, I still say the Lakers will probably win it. I don't care for LeBron, but I call balls and strikes on this program. I'm fair. Okay, let's talk about Sacramento Kings. Was that Draymond Green suspension valid in your opinion?
I mean, it's Draymond Green, and he was going to get something, and it wasn't another championship.
Like you said, that's because he has priors. If you got 4 or 5 speeding tickets, you're probably going to get arrested.
And you know what? He run up against a team that they don't care whether they're playing. He's playing them hard. They don't have.
They're not intimidated, not even a little bit.
No, they just playing ball. They're running, and the difference is that he's getting caught in his own game because he can't catch him running. He's just doing dumb stuff. So, and those dumb things will catch up with you eventually. So, and I'm not saying that all of Golden State is older, but the older players, you could see that they still trying to carry. They're still trying to play like they played 3 or 4 years ago, and they can't do that.
Right.
And Moody stepped in and he played a pretty decent game. But my question is this to everybody who's a Golden State fan: he had a great game Draymond wasn't there. Can he play the same game for the rest of the series? Can he play that?
Here's my thing.
No,
Steve Kerr, what I'll say about Kerr is he will alternate his lineup. He did it against Boston last year.
Right, and sometimes that's a problem. Like you want your guys like Poole, you want Moody, you want these guys to be averaging 18 plus, right? Minimum, right? And you want to give them those minutes. You don't want to give them to Draymond. You don't want to give them to Curry. You want them to go in there 20, 25 minutes and light it up, right? Even Thompson, just light it up. Just do you. I'm going to try to keep you under 30. But that's not what's happening, and it's dangerous.
Right.
You're playing with people's stamina, and there's no rule regulation for stamina.
Are they playing Sunday, the next game? Or is it tomorrow night?
I think it's Sunday, no?
Probably Sunday. They usually give that
2 days.
I want to say, Sunday.
Like
wow. Okay. It'd be 3:30 your time, 3:30 Eastern. I love those 2:30 games. That'll be fun, man. That'll be a lot of fun. You know something? The Warriors are 7.5 point favorites. I don't know, man. I think maybe the Kings if the Kings win this game, and they got a really good shot to win this game. The game 3, again, that's usually when the team, if they're going to do anything, they're going to win that game.
Right.
You know,
try to set the tone.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I feel like the Kings really have the edge. 92% chance of winning if you win your first 2 games. They do not have an answer for Sabonis.
It's not just Sabonis. It's like these guys are grinding it out. They're like they're
playing better defense than they did in the regular season.
And the best opportunity that Sacramento has had, not only with this coach. The coach is doing a great job for them.
Yeah, one coach of the year.
The last 20 games, 25 games, the last 20 to 20 have been competitive and hard games for them.
Yeah.
So, and they've won more than they've lost in those games, but it's taught them to be ready for this series and then for those that are coming after. So I think, whereas Golden State, they've had trouble. You know, Wiggins in and out of. Is he going to come back? Is he not? Steph coming back, like it's just there hasn't been any consistency for the Warriors, So I feel like Sacramento has had a better warm up situation per se for them,
Yeah. My
and they're my black horse, so I'm hoping to get to the third round. I'm hoping so.
Well, before the playoffs start, I thought the Kings would, or I thought it would be a hard-fought 6 games for the Warriors to win in 6. I cannot see the Kings not winning another game. If the Warriors win, it'll be in 7. I don't think the Warriors are going to run the table. Do you?
No, if they don't play this next game like the old Golden State, of old, if Klay Thompson don't pick it up, Curry's going to do what Curry does. So but if Thompson don't pick it up,
Curry's going to give you 30. He had 36 last night.
If Thompson and Poole and those guys don't average at 20 plus, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. It's
probably going to be the Kings in 6. Like Keith said the other day, you can't underestimate a champion. The way this thing is going.
These guys are young and they don't care, man. They're just balling. And I like that. I like that about them. And I like that their coach is letting them be them and not having like, why don't you pop and stop.
You think Looney starts on game 4? Because how Kerr really likes to turn things around. And bring Draymond off the bench, kind of like he did last year.
Yeah, and I don't think that he won't start him. I think the problem is when you put Draymond in there, is that enough time for Moody to get rest, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem. Yeah. Is that enough?
It's going to be an interesting chess match, I'll tell you. So who do you like in this series?
I've been picking Sacramento since before even the season.
Okay.
They're my black horse to go all the way. If a crazy team is to happen, that would be in the West. That would be the team.
Yeah. All right. Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. Denver's been laying low. I'll tell you what I didn't like about Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So far, they're playing well. They're 2-0. This is my criticism. Jamal Murray is playing too much hero ball too early, and they don't have the fluidity that they should of a good, solid championship team. They need the fluidity of a Golden State where everybody's touching the ball, get the best shot. That's my only criticism. Other than that, yeah, Denver looks great, man. And they can mess around and be a sleeper.
Yeah, Denver's quietly doing the thing.
Yes.
They're not in the media like crazy.
They're the quietest one seed ever, if you ask me.
And I want to see Jokic take over a game. Not just be part of the game and make it fun, but I want to see him. This is an opportunity for him because he's not getting MVP this year. It's okay, though. Everybody knows he's the best player in the NBA. I want him to
You think Jokic is the best player?
Right now?
Oh, okay. I like Giannis, but
well, Giannis
I ain't mad at you.
Giannis is hurt right now, so we're not gonna get 100% out of Giannis for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's still got that back contusion.
Yeah, so right now it's him. I'm not a big fan of Embiid for a lot of different reasons, but
they have played better defense. Pickles, them in Sacramento have turned the wick up on that side. I told you I thought I'd see another gear out of Denver because they played well when they had this group together in the bubble. And plus, they were in the playoffs the year before that. It's just keeping Murray healthy has been the problem, the issue with that team now.
If you're the coach, right, who do you tell to take over the game, Murray or Jokic? And
well,
why?
obviously, Jokic. I want to lower Murray's minutes. I want Murray to kind of slow down a little bit. Don't get ahead of himself. Stop playing hero ball. Don't be Westbrook. Don't follow me. Remember that the guys used to come to high school and talk to us, the prisoners?
Yeah,
don't follow me. Had the little orange jumpsuits on. Don't be like Westbrook, man.
No, and
he don't win. He ain't won anything.
And that's what I think the European ball will hurt Jokic. Is because he's not gonna step it up and take over the game like Giannis took over a game. He's not gonna, because that's not his.
He needs to be like Dirk Nowitzki in 2010 against the Heat.
Yeah, so that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see it be like, yo, Jamal, give me the ball, and if I see you and I need you, you're gonna get the ball.
Right.
But I don't right now. Give me the ball. Right.
Do you think that's just because they're playing Minnesota now?
Yeah.
They feel like they're in total control, by the way. I thought Minnesota would give them a fight, actually. I'm a little surprised by that.
Well, because they're still a little wet behind the ears. They're still too young, right? Because they got two players that are not considered that young, but they're still, in their prime.
Gobert's 30 and Conley's 34, but their young guys are still Karl Anthony Towns. Of course, Edwards is like super young.
Right.
Like 22 or something.
I think because this is their first year, Gobert's there. And now people understand that he's more European player than he is NBA player. So
he's a Frenchman.
Yeah, so because he's older, he's probably expecting more out of these guys, and the young guys are looking at him because he's older. That's what I'm saying about Jokic. He got that European mentality, and I want him to just push that aside and be like, let me take over this game, or let me take over now.
And maybe the next round, I want to say they play the winner of Golden State and Sacramento. No, wait a minute. They play the winner of Phoenix and the Clippers. I don't know, man. I think they're going to putting out. If it's probably going to be Phoenix, because we don't know how bad off Kawhi is.
I tell people, listen,
I think Phoenix is going to be. They're going to be limping into that series on the road at Denver.
Oh, the Clips are. I mean, I'm not gonna. What I did like about that game though from the Clippers is that that Westbrook did step it up because
he did 30.
And I like that. I want him to see it when it's necessary. He don't need to be stepping it up in the first quarter, second. He needs to step it up when it matters. Yeah. And I like that he did that. And you can show that from his veteran. He finally doing that for the team. But the problem is now they don't have enough depth. That's the thing. So.
Yeah, they're going to run out of depth. And if it wasn't for Kawhi's injury, I thought that was going to be a 7-gamer, man. I mean, I've watched every game, not all the whole game,
right?
Because
but
they want to put them on.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah. especially game one.
Yeah.
And most of game two, the Clippers in Phoenix had in the second quarter a 10, 12-point lead until they started doubling Kawhi Leonard. And then he strains his knee for the next game, which was, the other night. And now it's back to 2-1 Suns. So this is really helping out for Denver in that side. So your thoughts on the East? Does it still look like Boston, Milwaukee, or just Boston? Or what's your thoughts?
Now with Giannis out, not knowing exactly what's going to happen, that team looks like it lacks a depth without Giannis. Middleton is Middleton.
Oh, yeah. They've got some miles on their team, if you could, just to say the least.
Yeah,
except for Giannis himself, he's still in his prime.
The only thing is that you see, even like Lopez, you see that they're playing team ball, and they do a good job of that. But I feel like with Giannis not being there, it's just a different team, and it's almost like they're waiting for Giannis to come off the bench at any of that point where they playing. So they can't do that. They got to take over the game. They got to press. They got to keep going. And I feel like if they make it a half-court game because they're lacking Giannis in the lineup, they're gonna fall on their face, just flat. So,
yeah, and I'm reading here. He's saying that they're not. He's doing individual work here. I mean, it's a back contusion. That's a deep bruise, man.
Yeah, and that's
maybe he wants to come back. Maybe the trainers are trying to tell him maybe you shouldn't rush it. I don't know.
And they have that. What's his name? I forget. Beverly.
Patrick Beverly.
But
he plays with Chicago.
No, who's the guy in
Drew Holiday?
Holiday, yeah, Drew Holiday.
Yeah, point guard, yeah.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to really take things over.
Yeah,
man.
He needs to be more consistent. I don't know why I said Beverly. But
he must be thinking about you.
Yeah, he needs to play.
That's my daddy would say that, if he brings up somebody's name that's like a family member, that person must be thinking about me.
Like Drew's now, he can't just come off, and make a few shots. And he has to be the one.
He's gonna have to be assertive. Yeah. He was like he had a little spurt there.
He did, right? You're like, okay.
He looked like a guy who's about 7 years. Like he looked like our guy 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's like okay.
the Philadelphia Drew Holiday.
Yeah, you're like, okay, Drew. You still got some, and then
we need 25, 5, and 5 from you, brother.
Yeah, man. And you know what? You the coach. Middleton, you gotta ask that from everybody. Even Middleton. Middleton looked like it took him 3 quarters to get in the groove, man. Like, come on, you gotta get in it faster, my man. The team needs
that. Miami game's that game 3 is gonna be interesting if Giannis don't play.
And listen, Brooke,
which will probably favor Miami big time.
I'm not sure how old Brooke Lopez is, but he's
got some miles on him. He's about 33, 34.
He did good sticking his nose in and doing a few things, knowing that Giannis wasn't there. So I like that little bit of you got to have a little bit more edge.
Oh, he's 35. Yeah, no wonder people's talking about him being an old. They're gonna have to make another move and get another player.
Yeah, so I mean,
maybe they'll trade and get.
And then that's the thing. That's what I've been saying about the Bucks is that they're more older than they are younger. And
Holiday's like 29, 30, but
he think forever,
Lopez 35 years old. Wow.
Like I said, they have a good continuity, but they're gonna have to somebody there.
Oh, he's 32. Yeah, you're right. They're almost like Golden State.
Yeah. So, which is why I give the Boston Celtics a little bit more edge over the Bucks.
Brogdon won 6th man of the year. It seems like if he keep Robert Williams, keep him together. It should be Boston's year all the way.
No.
But and by the way, that's the updated odds on winning the championship.
Yeah, because like with the Heat, I mean, they got 2 players, but Hero going out is going to hurt them a lot.
Oh, yeah. They got their big scoring droughts. They're going to have to make a move too and get another star too.
So I feel bad for Miami fans, man, because they had every time they get an opportunity, something bad happens. So.
Something, an injury or happen, or it's once you start putting stock in Miami, they're going to totally let you down. Just like I did when they played Atlanta in the play-in game. And, Trae Young, who's on the trading block, goes off. Do you see a fit for him in the offseason for Trae Young?
I think Trae Young will go to one of these teams that like
He'd be a good fit up there in Milwaukee.
Yeah, right, to get
young,
to get younger. Yeah, like a team like for sure, or even in Charlotte maybe.
Oh wow, poor Trae Young.
Well, Trae Young ain't going to go anywhere that's going to win.
Well, I mean, somebody he would have to not. He's not the guy. He's too immature. He needs to be under a Giannis type of guy. He would not be a good fit with a Doncic.
There ain't that many Giannis's out there, man. There's one Giannis. That's it.
But I think Giannis is a special player. He's an all-timer, if you ask me. I would try to do whatever I can to put another player around him. Maybe squeeze another championship there, maybe 2. He's that good. He's special, man.
Who, Trae Young?
I hate Giannis. Trae Young is he's a little Steph Curry light, you know, at times. He don't have that kind of leadership Curry's got.
The problem right now is
talent-wise.
Some of these teams playing that half-court game when, Trae Young, he needs to run, man.
They're up by like 7, by the way.
They need to let him run. So whatever team picks him up, they better be one of them teams that like to be on the fly.
They're up by 7 at the end of the 4th over Boston. I don't think Boston's just going to run. I said Boston will win in 5, and that's probably going to go 5.
It's only 7 points, Robert, man. 2 3-pointers that game.
Yeah, Boston get hot in the 4th quarter and blow them out.
They're gonna be on the bench. You're gonna be like, man, I thought we were down by 15.
I don't know how many times. I don't know if you've ever been to Atlanta Braves game or Hawks. They're very casual down there. They love the Georgia Bulldogs, but their fans are real casual down there, man. Especially the Braves fans.
It's a different market being in Atlanta because Atlanta's on the up of changing and bringing in people from all over the states, right?
So they don't get as excited as they do here in New York, or they just don't, man.
Yeah, because these teams these are like a lot of these teams in New York were like founded and built, and other teams came because of them, right? Like the Rangers, like the hockey, and So
you're thinking Boston. Who do you like? I'm leaning Denver and Denver Boston in the final. I still like Boston. Which way do you see it now? It's still early. Is that what you're leaning?
Yeah, Boston, Denver, maybe
Phoenix.
I said Phoenix, but the problem with Phoenix, man, is that
that lack of depth and the age of their two main players, other than Booker. Booker's going to have to go crazy every night.
Booker's their key. If he can do what he keeps doing, and making sure that Chris Paul is not doing what he's doing, like that's the key right there.
And Ayton's going to have to give you about 25 and 20.
Yeah, well, the coaching and the GM, I said this earlier on with Keith, is like they made that's been the worst decision they did on the offseason was with Ayton either staying with him or getting rid of him, right? And now they bring in Durant, so you're still saying to Ayton that he's not the guy.
Oh wow!
So that's a confidence.
They change ownership. As a young guy, he's aggressive. He wanted
to
go out and
his
get Durant.
Is like I would say about 20 degrees less than it was last year at this time. So, and that's
I just hated that they had to give up so much to get Durant.
They should have gave up Ayton. Just like.
You mean traded Ayton?
Yeah, just take him. Right. I mean.
Yeah, who is that guy that's playing well with the Nets? I can't remember his name.
Dinwiddie?
No, the other guy. That came over in that trade.
Oh yeah. What is his name, bro?
He's really carrying that team.
Yeah, he's carrying them. He is. Telling you.
I can't.
The Nets
I'll
are
tell
going
you
to
here
win
in a minute.
games. They're not gonna get swept, man.
Didn't Bridges play with the Suns?
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah, Bridges is just.
That's his name, Bridges.
That would have been. He was a really good defender too. I was reading how good of a defender he is. They really missed Britt. You're right. Maybe they should have just sent Stan Ayton over. Everything has to match up perfectly. Salaries. That's my big bugaboo with the NBA. But it is what it is, man.
Just ask the 76ers how much pressure they got trying to win and trying to get in.
Yeah. Now, I like them in this series, but they'll probably fall apart.
I told you, man. It's the last 3 seasons.
Embiid's he's already banged up.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So I All right, man. Hey, this time next week we'll be talking NFL draft.
Yeah, draft.
You know, Pickle says Claxton's a sleeper. Yeah, the Nets are getting the Nets are done. They're going to get beat. They're going to.
No, man, you're gonna see they're gonna win 1 or 2 games, man. I'll be all right.
But yeah, the New York teams. Get your comment on the Titans in the first round. I mean, I cannot wait, folks. 1 week from the day, me and Carlos will be breaking down playoffs, and of course, the NFL draft. I can't wait. I can't believe it's already this. It's already here on top of us, man.
Yeah, man. We should do a show for that, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it. We'll do that Friday. I mean, obviously, you're going to have the second round on Friday, but everybody's going to talk about the first. And, if something comes up while we're having a show, I'll give you some updates. I won't have a show Thursday. I'm going to be on the Mac and Jack Jim Jeffcoat show. They do a draft show every draft. I'll come on around the time the Tennessee Titans. Pickles 7 p.m. It'll be in Chicago this year.
No, Kansas City, no?
Huh?
It's in Chicago?
Yeah, it's in Chicago. You thought it was in Vegas too.
No,
Actually, look it up.
City.
It's in Chicago, man.
Is it in Kansas City next year?
I think so. You know what? That's funny. I thought that Kansas City was this year at first. But it's NFL draft location. Here, I'll try it one more time while we're doing this.
Kansas City, no?
No, it's Chicago, man. No, it is saying Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that they said it. I looked up something. Maybe they meant Chicago time. I don't know. Either way, which is good. It'll be in a central time zone. It's still going to start at 7 p.m.
Good for you, man. I'm on the eastern side, son.
Yeah. You got to wait to 8 o'clock. That's my. But it's going to be a crazy draft. Bryce Young's a favorite to go number 1 overall. Good luck with that, Carolina. It is Kansas City. Pickles, you're right. It's what I looked up yesterday said Chicago. I guess they meant Chicago time, 7 p.m. So it's going to be interesting. There's a good chance it's 2 Alabama players go 1 and 2. Bryce Young and Will Anderson, and those quarterbacks get pushed back. So maybe something happens with your Jets, man.
Hey, listen, I think we're gonna hit the ball on the head with this one. With Levis not being in the first round at all, so that's a possibility.
That's a very good possibility. So
we might be right about something on this show.
Yeah, that's true. We saw a lot of him last year. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Pickles. Everybody, have a good night. And I got to find out some good techno music to break the show off with.
Happy Friday, guys. Enjoy your